finally got my hands on this box. Let's see what's in it. Hey, it's Grover with Old Ones with Dice. So, we all know that Warmachine Mark IV came out, and they came out with a 2-player starter box from Steamforge after they got purchased. I'm an old-time Warmachine player, and I kind of wanted to figure out how am I going to show people that. You know, I pull out my Warmachine Prime from 2003 rulebook. Yeah, I'm a pack rat. Do I show my 2-player starter box from Mark III from 2016? Yeah, that'll work. But I'll show you the real thing that shows how much I'm into it. Oh, this thing's heavy. There it is. Yep, the personally engraved Battlefrome custom box for Warmachine. The Privateer Press logo. Yeah, this is my Signar Army. There's another one with my son's name on it where he has his Kador. I've got another one that was not labeled that's got my Crix Army in it. So yeah, I played quite a bit of Warmachine. I collected a lot, and in fact, the very first model I ever painted was a Warmachine model. Been playing miniatures games since I was little. Never painted anything. Everything was a joke, but the first thing I ever painted was a Warmachine model, and I loved it. Their models are great. The way the details were set up, it was a joy to paint those things. So when Mark IV was announced, you know, at that point, the game had kind of gone into a bit of a stale. It had become stale. And, you know, we'll talk a little bit about why I think that is, but you know, I know Mark IV came out, people were like, okay. And then they announced what was happening. There's going to be, I think it was a 10-year time jump, and all your armies that you have right now, yeah, they're no good anymore. Yeah, you'll probably still be able to play them, but we're not going to update any rules for them anymore, and you're not going to be able to buy any more models. You're going to have to go with the new stuff. So it's basically, it was, for all intents and purposes, it was a brand new game. And this was a little, I'm going to admit, a little frustrating. Then they came out with the idea that they were going to be 3D printing their models in-house. Okay, which is fine. So you're printing on demand, 3D printing them, as long as the quality is good. I know there were some early issues with quality control, but you know, some of the models, yeah, they had some issues. But the problem is, stuff was out of stock. I mean, how do you have print on demand, 3D printed models, and they're out of stock? That doesn't make any sense. And honestly, there was just a lot of frustration in the community about it. I know a good friend of mine who was very hardcore into Warmachine. He got banned from the Discords for having the nerve to say he wasn't a real fan of the elf models. And this guy, he's not, you know, someone who goes in and starts trolling or being insulting. He's a very laid back, mature guy, and you know, he got banned. Well, lo and behold, we finally find out. The announcement comes up. Steamforge has purchased not all the Privateer Press files, but the Warmachine products. And they're going to re-release Warmachine. They're going to re-release the P3 paint line, which an excellent paint line if you've ever used it. So that's, and one of the things that they announced right away was that there was going to be this 2-player starter box in plastic available. Now, I'll admit, I took my time trying to get my hands on it. I wasn't really sure. I was kind of on the fence about Mark IV because all of my characters, what happened to them? And this is a thing that Warmachine and Privateer Press, I think, was a problem. And you can go back in time. Originally, you had a physical book that they were producing. This book, like any starter box, this is what, hey, I'm interested in Warmachine. Where do I start? You start with a book. You've got overviews of the different factions, the different characters, the overall lore. It was available right here. Well, how do you continue that? Then you get things like these these expansion books that they would put out. And yeah, I've got this stuff still. So these were, I think these are mainly put out during the Prime era, the Mark I basically. And these introduced new characters. It progressed the storyline for the lore. It introduced new rules and different types of models. I don't know if I've got Colossus here, which added their giant models, but superiority, legends, and these came out on a periodic basis. This is how you generate, excitement in retail store. It's like you go in, what's new on the shelf? You look at it, it's like, oh, look at that cover. I mean, seriously, look at that. And it generated excitement. Well, starting with Mark III, which I believe, and I can't find my Mark III rulebook offhand, though I've got one. I believe that was the last thing that Privateer Press actually physically published as a book. They decided to go to a system of, living rulebooks. So that Mark III rulebook, which I spent a fair amount of money, beautiful rulebook. The lore is great. What's going on in there, the history and the progression of the story that is available at Mark III. It's still available. All your rules are kind of iffy because they were changing things. And you had to go to the local PDF, find the errata, figure out what had changed. And this made it really confusing and really tough as a casual player. I wasn't out playing every week, maybe once a month, maybe a couple months between games. And it became harder and harder to follow what was happening. I know, they started to introduce new factions, new major things in the lore, the Grimkin, the Crucible Guard. I have no idea where the Crucible Guard came from because they never did anything. Even at Mark II edition, which if I'm at Mark II rulebook, look at this art. These books were great. But at that time, you were doing things like the Forces Up. So this is how you did a lot of your expansions. This is where a lot of the lore, new characters were introduced in your Forces Up. Again, this generated excitement in the stores. It's like, oh, I got a new Force book. Suddenly in 2016, when Mark IV came out, or Mark III, I apologize, they stopped that. So Crucible Guard, which was, I think, one of the last factions they put out, I have no idea where they came from. I don't even know where I would be able to go back and find out where they came from. Then the Infernals showed up, and I have no idea what that storyline was. The Grimkin, the Eternals. And then everything goes silent. And, I can go back. I get bits and pieces. I hear, oh, yeah, the Cricks, the island exploded. I don't know. Where are the trolls? Nobody knows. And it's hard to find that lore. And that's something that I'm hoping, if Steamforge, please, if you're listening, put out a book. Tell us something just to get us caught up with the lore. I don't have the time to search Wikipedia pages and Discord servers and blogs all over the place. Just put it somewhere so I can find it. I'll buy it. Trust me. I bought all this. I'll keep buying it. So what did finally get me really excited about Mark IV was when I saw what was in this box. One of the things that really bothered me was that my forces were gone. The armies I like to play. There's no remnant. Where were my characters? The models that were available for Signar or for Khador, they weren't exactly the ones I wanted to play. There's a lot more focus on the lightning bolt Signar. Wasn't my thing. I was more I like my pistol mages. Let me tell you. And all of a sudden, here it comes. Here's my boy, Kane, and the Black 13th, or at least with an extra guy, a new guy, because one of them died. But there they were. I'm like, oh. So this got me in. This gave me that connection to the old, me as an old player. And then we get a new faction from Khador. This was a perfect mix, I think. So I'm really excited. What I am a little concerned about is what's in this box. Two-player boxes come in, it's a spectrum. You have games like Carnival. If you've ever seen the black box for Carnival, this thing retails for a bit over $100. And you have two full forces, all the dice, cards, the full bound rule book that retails for $60. It's in that box. You have enough, it's tag board terrain, fold and put together terrain, but you have enough for a 3x3 board that you can, mix and match. It's got physical miniatures. Everything's in there. And you open it up, you put it together, you're ready to play. You don't have to buy anything else. I just did a review on, I don't know if you can see it, Cyberpunk. Some of the Cyberpunk games that are coming out from Monster Fight Club, everything you need is in there. You're ready to go right out of the box. Heck, the Edge Runners, you don't even have to glue anything. They come out with plastic standees that are already painted. If you want to buy the miniatures, you can buy them, but they have something ready to go. Now, looking back to the last box that Private Press put out, which was this one. What this came with, this retailed, I believe, around $79 in 2016. Sure, inflation. This would cost $150, $200 easy. Well, what came in this? You had two Warcasters. Each force had multiple jacks and a unit. You also had a copy of the rule book. You had cards. You had kind of get you started terrain that you could use. It wasn't the best, but it was enough to get you doing a starter game. You didn't really have to invest in it. I think the dice were even in here. It tells me. I've got 28 highly detailed plastic miniatures, to training tutorial guide, introduction guides. Again, introduction guides for the forces. A Prime's rule digest, which was just the rules, no lore in it, mini rule book. The scenario sheet, a battle mat, kind of a smaller, kind of paper mat that you could use, you play the game on, a ruler, dice, focus tokens, spell tokens, obstacle cards. You had a lot came in here. This was a great lost leader item that was on the shelf. And again, it generated excitement. I'm at a local store, very small. They brought them in, they were gone quickly. Wasn't a huge Warmachine community, but they had no trouble getting rid of these things. They went out. Now, this new one, I'm a little afraid. I've heard some rumors of what's in here, and basically, there's not much. So we're going to sit down, take a look, And again, I'm going to take a pause. If you've watched this far, hit subscribe, hit like, tell me a comment. What's your experience at Warmachine? What do you think of the new system, the new rules, where Steamforge is going, and what do they need to do next? We'll talk a little bit more after we open this up, but for now, I'm going to take a pause. We're going to open this up, and we'll see what's actually in this box. All right, so we have the box here. I did take the plastic off, so you don't have to watch me fumble with that, but let's see, I don't think there's any tape on it. Let's see what's in here. I'm excited. Looks like we got 2 Warcasters and a group of probably solos and a small unit. Yeah, it looks like a unit and a solo. So, let's see, I doubt if we're going to have cards. I doubt if we have anything. And I don't know the quality of the miniatures. I don't know if these are ABS plastic. I don't know if these are the kind of the goofy, kind of soft, almost like board game plastic that Private Press is using. We'll find out. I'm hoping we're looking at ABS or at least resin. But, All right. Oh, we do have at least a piece of artwork and links to go somewhere to find out more. So, no lore. Where that link goes sends me to an app. Join the community. Steamforge Discord. We got the Warmachine community. Again, where do I find the lore? Where do I find out the backstories of what's going on here? Oh well. So I don't even have I do have some terrain. Interesting. So what is this? So there's no instructions here. That's a little weird. So I'm kind of gonna have to guess. Yeah, there are no instructions. All right, let me pull out my phone. Let's see what this says. I don't want people actually looking at my phone right now, but let's just see. So I'm going to go over, I'm going to scan Steamforge. Let's see if maybe this will give me directions, a link to the instructions. Okay, so we do have a quick start guide. Let's see. We got quick start guide. Download the app. So okay, the build instructions. You know, would it be that hard? Just print it out and throw it in the page. I don't know. I'm a little annoyed, but oh well, at least they have instructions. I can't complain too much. So let's see if we have everybody here. So Kane, we got name. We know what their names are at least. So I got the instructions for Kane. Deuce, which is Kane's new Jack. Whatever happened to Ace, I don't know. Now it's Deuce. Oh, we have the instructions. Falk. I don't know who is the Glover. That I don't know who Glover is. Ryan and Falk were two surviving members of the Black 13, an elite gun mage unit. I can't remember, there was one that died in one of the books. So Glover is a new character. Who is Glover? I have no idea because where's the lore? Looking for more info. Because I'm going to say, I don't have the time to dig through a Discord to try to figure out the lore. Just put it somewhere. Put it put it somewhere. And I know I'm beating a dead horse here, but you're going to hear me complain about this again. All right, so I do have some good instructions here on how to put them together. Falk. I'm sorry, Falk. Sebastian Falk was a solo character. Watts, Ryan, and Glover is a new one. Okay. Where is he? Old man with a shotgun. I wanted to take a look at that. There he is, yeah. The old man with a shotgun. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the details. You know, I do miss, I'm an old man, so I kind of like the old Warmachine, the old pewter models, and then even their heavy resin models that they made. But these will be fine. I wish I'm trying to figure out what these are. I'm assuming this is like a pond into some fence works, just so you have. Hey, it's better. A little bit of terrain. That works. We'll take a look at the quick start guide here also. So we got our instructions. Let's take a look quick. And where was it? Quick start guide. So again, I do wish that this stuff was just printed out and out there. You know, it should be free for people. People should be able to kind of look at this stuff. So we do have a little bit of the, you know, how to build a force, adding, you know, kind of instructions. Here we go. We've got some scenarios in there. You know, which is good. This is great, actually, a good playable guide. I wish, like I said, it's there, printed out. But anyway, I'm going to set the phone away, and I'll go through. We'll just take a little detail. Look, let me find someone's face here. So let's take a look. All right, you can kind of see there's plenty of detail. And again, one of the things I loved about Warmachine is all of these little pieces, these little rivets, all this stuff. There's a lot of detail, but the detail is exaggerated. You know, sometimes on some models, some companies' models, it's really hard to differentiate that material, differentiate different parts. I mean, I know 40K is getting kind of notorious for tons and tons of crap on some of the models and stuff and details you have to paint. But these, Warmachine always did, private to press, and now it looks like Steamforge is still continuing on. Nice, exaggerated things. It makes it easy to paint and bring out those details. So we're looking to someone's hand, looking for someone's face. All right, there we go. There's a face there. Heck. We got a little mustache going on there. There's some nice detail there. You know, take a look. Again, something like this. You can see these screws, how large those screws are. Yeah, you can paint those. Look, you know, It's a little hard to do this. Here we go. Look at the, a lot of details. I look forward to it. I'm going to get these put together. How long it's going to take for me to get them painted, I don't know. But at least I'm going to get these guys put together. A friend of mine has the models. I believe he already doesn't paint them. I'm going to see if he'll let me borrow them. So, let's see. Here. These shoulder pauldrons with the details. Nice. And then if you, just in case you want to see that. The walls. Double-sided. Little bits of scattered terrain. That's fine. I got this piece like this. So, again, compared to what we had last time for a two-player starter box, which, there was a lot in here. There was a lot in this box. And it worked well together. And they were a good team. A little disappointing, but I don't know. I think this retails for $100. And I'll put a link down below so you can find it. I'll probably, if I can find an affiliate link, either through Noble Knight or Amazon. Helps the channel, doesn't cost you anything. But if you're interested in it, I don't want to discourage you. If you like Warmachine, you want some models that are going to be fun, easy to put together, fun to paint, this is a good way to go. As a game, Warmachine, it was one of the funnest. If you're looking at any type of mass battle game, Warmachine was probably one of the funnest. You had a good combination of units moving around, taking damage, taking cover, and just smash face of two steam-powered behemoths smashing each other apart, ripping their arms off, ripping legs off, chopping thing. Yeah, it was a brutal, fast game, and it was a lot of fun to play. And I'm really looking forward to see where they're going with this. So, I think I would probably cut out to an outro and just kind of go from there. So I think if you have any questions about what came in this box, please, by all means, leave me a comment. If you bought this thing and you're happy, you're disappointed, you like what's happening with Warmachine, let me know. Please put it in the comments. And not until next time. And put it in the comments. I'm going to switch back to the other camera angle and do an outro here. All right, I'm back. I just wanted to give some final thoughts. Do I think it's a good value? It's a good value. You're going to get two forces. You've got a variety of things going on. And as the market goes, this is comparable to what I see from something like Blackout, a game I really like. Kind of pricey models, but it's a great game and I want to continue. Now, one thing about Warmachine, whether I'm going to continue with Warmachine, is what's next on the line. What stops me right now is, what do I buy next after this? Now, are there going to be more pistol mages? Are there going to be more complementary forces to go along with this? We'll see. Right now, we're waiting to see what the next set of releases are. And I think one of the things Steamforge really needs to think about is, let's get some books out there. Let's get some stuff out there to help introduce people to the lore. Because right now, as far as I can tell, there's nothing in here that a brand new player who's never, that's never played the game, is not really 100% familiar, but sees the models, has heard some cool things about the game, heard cool rumors that it was a cool game. Where do they get started? In terms of the lore, what the factions are, we need something out there. And I was hoping something would be available for the two-player starter set. Didn't have my hopes up, but for me as a returning player, this is something I very much like to see. I think it's a step in the right direction. I'm very happy Steamforge Games. Please keep producing. People are buying this stuff. We're putting it together. There's a lot of old people, older players, vintage players who are playing. But the fact is, nothing's been producing lore, faction guides, anything like that for 9 years now. We need something out there. So again, I'm going to do my call to action. If you like this channel, you want to see more, you want to see if I go anywhere with Warmachine, hit like, hit subscribe, leave me a comment. Tell me what you think. Am I off base? Am I wrong about having physical rule books? Maybe I am. Maybe it's just because I got the gray beard and I'm an old man. But I like having something physical. I like being able to hand this over to somebody and say, "Hey, look at this. This is what it is." And as an older person in the in the gaming hobby, a lot of what I do right now is trying to find younger players, whether it's teens, people in their early 20s, people who are interested in the games, but they don't know where to start. And sometimes it gets hard to get these younger players in because we don't have a lot of starters out there for them. And this is me calling. It's not just about money. We need loss leaders out there and starter boxes and starter packs for these younger players so they can get started. So Games Workshop is doing it. BattleTech, the Catalyst does it great with Alpha Strike and BattleTech. I would love to see some other game companies really reach out and create some things for these younger starting players. So until next time, this has been Grover with Old Ones with Dice.